Thank you, Carla. Tanya Travis is going to talk about the family leave.
Thank you all for coming. I want to thank the Democratic Party for all the work they do throughout the year, and especially to Scott, who has the energy to put this kind of stuff together. He's trying to attack me. I'm going to talk about Proposition 118. No one disputes that employers value their employees and are invested in their employees' motivation for work and their health. The problem of how to support both businesses and workers during an extended family emergency remains unsolved. Because the Colorado legislature failed in their attempts so far, organizations that are most inspired for a solution have presented the voters with this Proposition 118. It's called the Paid Family and Medical Leave Insurance Program. I just want to stop and say how important it is to go all the way down the ballots and really encourage your neighbors and friends to vote all the way down. A lot of people are one-issue voters, and it really helps if you go all the way down. One of the primary reasons the legislature has failed is that there is pressure from the business community Thank you very much. Another hard worker. I think it's this. This is not supposed to be either.
What do you need?
Just for it to hold. It just keeps letting loose. Okay. Okay, thanks. Private sectors answer. Oh, one of the reasons that this has not been passed by the legislature is that there's pressure from the business community for a private market insurance plan, and actually Governor Polis has signaled his support for this approach. Private sector answers to its shareholders. Social programs answer to people. No one disputes both entities are subject to corruption, and both models of administration would add cost. Workers in the gig economy are not covered for paid family leave with Proposition 118, but let's face it, we have to start somewhere. Colorado Families First is one of the 60 organizations that support Proposition 118. Their mission statement is to prevent the abuse and neglect of children by providing education, family support, and treatment. All of us know that parenting these days requires 2 incomes. Many families live below a living wage, so it doesn't take much to destabilize our families. Workers currently have guaranteed job protection under a federal law, FMLA, with a qualifying leave of absence, but not a paid leave of absence. Proposition 118 can be considered a joint investment by both the employer and the employee, as they both contribute to the funding. Just imagine you can't work from home in this COVID environment and your child has a pre-existing health condition and you need to set up temporary learning environment. This choice is difficult for both your employer and you. Perhaps a worker has an elderly parent that has been living independently in their home but is failing, requires hospitalization with complicated decisions around further support. If we fail to care for the very people who care for the most vulnerable, it betrays our family values. It hurts our local economy by increased foreclosures and evictions. But most of all, it hurts the children that rely on their parents to provide a stable home environment. Management of Prop 118 is set up to be housed within the Department of Labor and Employment, and this would establish the enforcement. They already have a lot of functions in place. To build trust for any enterprise within the government today, there must be transparency and accountability. All systems, private and public, of course, can be corrupted, and so having oversight for the administration of the program is critical. This agency already includes job training. It understands already the process for providing temporary wage replacement through unemployment. Finally, this proposal fills many holes in our safety net for our frontline workers. If you look carefully at who would be eligible for the family and medical leave insurance and the conservative limitations on the compensation benefits, I think you will agree this is not only a reasonable solution for economic security for all of us, but it's also a joint investment by its very nature between employers and employees. the burden of funding the safety net does not fall disproportional on the employer. Both parties pay in equally. And it's of benefit to the employer when trying to make compassionate choices for their employee. This is a long-term solution, and it takes our commitment as a society that we value our families, our local businesses, and our workers. A family values vote is a vote yes on Proposition